Right guys, this video we're going to look at setting up a patrolling enemy in our level that basically moves from one point to another point and then back, and then it'll just keep repeating backwards and forwards. You can set this up more complicated if you want to, with multiple points. Just for the demonstration, we're just going to do backwards and forwards between two different points. So at the minute, if we press play, we've got nothing going on, just got a player that moves up and down. You can't jump or shoot or anything because we're just doing this demo. What we're going to end up with is this enemy going from here to there, maybe waiting a second or two, going back to here, and then so on and so forth. So let's set this up. So we've got an enemy, a player, and a platform here, and like I said, the player is just there for aesthetics more than anything, and so is the platform. So we're going to set the enemy up so that it moves. So we're going to need two rules for this, but we're just going to write one rule to save some time, and then we're going to copy and paste it. So this is going to be based on an attribute, and the attribute's going to be the enemy's position. So when the enemy's position is equal to a certain value, it's going to move to here, and then when its position value is equal to something, it's going to move back again. So we'll set up this rule. So if the attribute, and we'll leave that blank for now, do move to is going to be our behavior. Using move to, we can specify exactly where we want this enemy to go on the X and the Y. So the in the attribute box, we're going to click the attribute button, and we're going to go attributes, enemy, position, and because it's moving left and right, I'm just going to use the position X to determine what's going to happen here. And for the move to, we're going to leave that blank for now because we're actually just going to copy this entire rule. So I'm just going to select it, hold Control and press C, and then hold Control and press V, and it's made an exact copy of that rule. So we've got two copies, well, one original and a copy. Alright, so for the first rule, we need to figure out where this enemy is right now. So we'll just select him in the actor, and we'll come to the top here, and we can see that the X position of this actor is currently 438. So we'll go back to prototype, and we'll type in 438. So the rule at the minute says, when the self position on the X-axis of this enemy is equal to 438, which means it's in this location, it's going to do something. It's going to move to some coordinates that we decide. So I'm just going to select it and then hold and shift. I'm just going to slide it along the screen. So we need to get our second set of coordinates now. So my next set of coordinates is going to be 168 in the first box, X before Y, 168. And then in the second box, I do need to put the Y coordinate in, because if I leave it at 0, it's going to drop down to 0, which is down here. So 78. And then I need to set its position back to 438, because 438 is what's triggering this behavior. So I'm going to put in 438. Okay. So the rule says, when the enemy is in this position, 438 on the X-axis, it's going to move to 168 on the X-axis and 78 on the Y-axis. I'm also going to turn on run to completion, because that makes sure that it's going to go all the way to its location. If we don't turn on run to completion, it'll only move while it's at 438, which is for a split second. So we need to make sure that run to completion is turned on. So let's see what happens, and there it goes. Cool. Alright, now we need it to come back again. So this is where the second rule comes in. So the second rule is going to be based on when it's in its new location, and we already know that. So we're going to put 168, because that's its new location, right? That's where it moves to, and we want it to move back to the first location, which was 438, and it was 78, I believe, on the Y-axis. I'll just check that. 78, yeah. And we turn on run to completion. So with both of those rules, the first rule says when you're at 438, move to 168, and the second rule says when you're at 168, move back to 438. Let's have a look. There it goes, patrol an enemy, left and right. We could add timers in if you want them to stop for a little bit, so we can just close these down. And in the do section, we'll add a timer in the first rule, and we'll say after 2 seconds, run to completion, and then we'll put the move to inside of the timer. So the rule says when you're at 438, after 2 seconds, move to 168. And then we'll do the same in the second rule, so timer again, after 2 seconds, run to completion, move to. So first rule, when you're at 438, after 2 seconds, move to 168. Second rule, when you're at 168, after 2 seconds, move to 438. Let's have a look. So we wait 2 seconds, and it goes, and then we wait 2 seconds, and it goes again, and it keeps going backwards and forwards. So that's the basics behind setting up a patrolling enemy. Now, there's one thing I should point out. We did all of our work on the prototype here. If, for example, you had multiple enemies in your level, you would have to, so we'll get another enemy, and I just scaled it manually, so I'll just drop it there. We'd have to unlock the instance of this actor. So all of the changes that we put in for the coordinates apply to this actor specifically. Because we worked on the prototype, these rules, these coordinates would only work if we had it in those exact positions. So with the instance, we need to make sure that it's different. So with this one, we're going to say, right, 294. And it's going to move to 244, for example. So do move to 244. And then, of course, we need to do that backwards. So 244. And what was the original? 294. And we're just going to put the 244 into there. If for any reason your character doesn't move, right, just make sure, did I put that right number in here, 244? Just make sure that you've typed in one of the values into the coordinate again, because for some reason, even if it says it's there, just make sure that you type it in so you know that it's right, 244. And they both start moving now. They're going to completely separate coordinates here. Alright, so make sure that you do unlock the instance of any extra enemies that you might add in after the first one and change the coordinates for that particular instance of the actor. Right, I hope it's been useful for you guys. I'll see you next time.